Now, the good thing about having this row here is that I could create another layout. It's all well and good, and you can make a great website with just an 8-column and a 4-column, and that looks just fine. But what I also want to do is I want to create another layout below it that is a 4-4-4. And sometimes you do this in the footer area. What I'm going to do, because this is my home page, I want to put 3 little areas of content. So the first one, let me go ahead and grab the new layout. And again, whenever I see a div class row, that means you're going to create a whole new layout separate from the other one. I'm going to go ahead and copy it. And I still want to make sure that I'm within my container fluid. Okay, I want to leave that open because I still want that buffer space. Now what I have here is a new row with 3 new columns, a 4-4-4. So here in this first one, I'm going to go ahead and do, let's say, an H2, and I'll say excellence. And I have all this content kind of already written up. So if you're trying to figure out what to put in each of these, you may have to take some time to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and grab some content and just paste it in there. Then I'm going to go ahead and do another H2, say professionalism, close that. Especially for these kinds of projects where you have a pretty balanced layout, like a 4-4-4, you want to make sure that any content you provide is also balanced. And so I've got a certain number of paragraphs that I'm going to use, and I'm going to make sure that they're about the same length, and actually they're exactly the same length because they're exactly the same thing. But you can see here, and as I divide up these H2s from the paragraphs and the closing of the divs and kind of line all these up, you'll see what's really happening here is I've got a whole hierarchy, a whole system of, I've got a new row. You can see it opens here and closes here. Within that row, I've got a 4-column that opens and closes. I've got another 4-column that opens and closes. And I've got a third 4-column that opens and closes. Each one of them has its own H2 and paragraph. And I'm going to save it and refresh and see what it looks like. Okay, it doesn't look great because my window's a little bit too small and it looks like I messed something up in my HTML code. So I'm going to go back and try to figure out what that might be. It could be a lot of different things. And it looks like I've missed that tag. Okay, that looks a lot better. So you can see I've got a 4-4-4, and that would be a good footer area. So I've got an 8-4 and then a 4-4-4. And you'll notice that they're separated because this has its own row and this has its own row. And you can see that here. This is all in a div class row, and then this is in a div class row. And then this div is still closed because way back up here I told it to all be in a container. And that's why it's all buffed away from the edge. Now there's other things you could do obviously in here if you wanted to add an image. img source equals, give it a width of, I'll just say 400 and alignment left. So all those things obviously are still fair game within these projects, and I guess I call it oldmain.jpg. And so you can see that I've added an image and some text. And that's really how you make a Twitter Bootstrap website with some content and some different layouts.